Hi guys, good morning. It's Nicole and Grandma Ingrid. We're here again with you today. Today we want to show you how to save those vegetables that you guys have bought at the store, and they might not be getting used as much as you thought, or you might have a few that you think are going to go bad before you use them. These are great everyday tools you can use for any of your vegetables that you guys have that you've bought anytime. It doesn't have to be during this crazy time. But because we're all going to be home, we want to maximize the use of our vegetables and the use of the food that we have bought, because we're not running out to the store every second. We're all sheltering at home. We're all, just being good stewards of what we have and what we've bought. So my mom and I today want to show you how to blanch your vegetables and freeze them so you can use them in the future, whether it's to make a side to go with your mashed potatoes and gravy, or to use them to put in soups or stews or anything like that. So we want to show you really quick what you're going to do. Some of the things you need are, you need a good pot that has boiling water. We have this little fry pan to show you. It's just a pan about yay deep. It doesn't even have to be a big soup pot or anything like that. You can use a steamer basket, a pasta pot. It's got the little pull-out insert. You can use one of those little steamer baskets, but really all you need is just a pot that has some boiling water in it. So we want to put some corn on the cob. We found some corn on the cob. So say you've gone to your local farmer's market or grocery store. Avila Barn's open. They have some boxes that they're going to meet you at curbside. Tally Farms has their boxes. And there's several different local farmers. Let's support the local farmers that are still working their booties off for us. But we're going to take this corn of the cob, leave it on the cob, and we're going to drop it in that boiling water.
And I'm going to start the timer.
And the reason why you're going to blanch your vegetables before you put them in the freezer is you want to preserve them where they're at. So you don't want to use really gross vegetables that nobody would eat, because who wants to do that? You want to use vegetables that are still fresh, still have good quality. They could be a little bit going because of the time we're in, but you want to use fresh because there's no way to bring life back into an already dead vegetable. So you want to use those ones that are still pretty fresh. So this corn on the cob is beautiful. It's still got lots of life in it. So we want to stop the decaying process. We want to preserve those enzymes. It's going to stop those enzymes from rotting and all that. It's going to preserve the color of your vegetable, because nobody wants to eat a gross looking vegetable. And it's going to lengthen the time it's good for. It's going to increase those vitamins and preserve them. So when you freeze them, they're not all going to go away, and you're not going to have any nutritional value out of those vegetables.
This is the way we used to do it when the kids were little. We always have the garden, and when the boys were little especially, and they would pull their little wagon out to the garden, and they would actually shuck it right off of the vine, off of the stalk, and we'd fill up that wagon, bring it in. I had boiling water going. We'd put it in. We'd go to the sink, and actually the sink wasn't there, but we went to the sink, and we would cut it off. We used our kraut board back then. We're not using a kraut board today or anything like that. We're just going to cut it off. And we prefer it from canning. We'd much rather have it frozen, our corn. Some things we like one way and the other, but this is a real easy way to preserve your corn. And this one happens to be 4 minutes. And we're going to take that out, and we have here, and we're doing this a little different now, I hope you can see, a bowl of ice water. And so what we do with the vegetables is, as soon as we take them out of the boiling water, we drop them into the ice water to stop that cooking. And we want to preserve all the integrity of the vegetable that we can by putting it into the ice water. But you have to kill those enzymes that are going to break it down too much. So that's why you blanch it and not just throw it in the freezer without blanching it. I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people just do the whole ear of corn. I prefer to have it cut off and do it. So Nicole's going to show you, and we've got green beans.
So we have some green beans here, and we're going to just cut the blossom end off and the other end just to have it uniform. So I have all my green beans down here on my cutting board, and what I like to do is I like to think how big I like to eat them. So I'm going to just chop these. I put them all together because it's just going to be a rustic green bean, nothing too crazy like. I don't have to have my measurements, and I'm just going to cut them into the size I like. Now if I was going to make some homemade cup of noodles, or something, I would make these small little bites, but I like to have this size for if I'm eating soup or stew or green beans with my, dinner or something like that. So I'm cutting the majority this way, some are this way. These are great for like inside salads and different things, but I'm gonna just cut all of my green beans into a uniform thing. And when we're done with this video, I'm gonna post down below, because all different vegetables have different times you wanna blanch them for, and it's really important. You don't wanna over blanch them or under blanch them. You wanna kill those enzymes, but not kill the nutrients in your vegetables. So you don't wanna boil them to death, because then they're not gonna bring your body anything good. And why are you eating them if there's no nutritional value to them? And it's also gonna break them down and make them mushy. So you want to boil them for that time. So I'm gonna post down below a little chart that gives you a rough guess of how long you want to do each vegetable. Like we said, the corn is 4 minutes, green beans are 3 minutes. We're going to do some broccoli. I'm going to cut that off the stalk, and you'll see this broccoli is a little bit wilty, and but I'm still going to freeze it because I don't want to throw this broccoli away, because it's still going to be good. And I'm going to cut the heads off, and I'm going to it also is 3 minutes, so I'm actually going to throw it in with these green beans.
I'm going to take this corn out now and stick it in the ice water.
So I'm just going to cut these little florets off. I'm going to actually get a smaller knife so I can hold it up here so you guys can see. You can leave as much stalk on as you want or as little as you want, but I'm just going to cut them in little florets.
If you're not going to be eating this just with your meal, take this and still blanch it and freeze it. This is great for nutrition and everything in your soups and stews. There's a lot of nutrition in this, a lot of good flavor in this broccoli stem. Just as much as there is or more in the florets. So use it all, but cut it how you want it. And so
I'm just going to actually, I think you guys can see this cutting board. I'm just going to cut all those florets off, and you'll see I can then just break them into smaller pieces. And we're just going to throw those in to this water here. And excuse Ruby, she wants to be a part of this too, but you guys all have your kids at home with you, so you guys know what it's like. So we're going to just throw all these veggies in this boiling water here. And I'm going to do a little bit of cauliflower. Now, I have my cauliflower here. I'm going to cut my cauliflower up. And I like to take and go right here into the stem, the heart of it. And I'm just going to cut this out. Just like that. Now, if you want to know the honest truth of me, that's one of my favorite parts to eat. I just gnaw on that. It's so delicious, and you still get the cauliflower flavor. So I'm just going to break these little cauliflower florets into my boiling water here so they can all be cooking together, because they're 3 minutes apiece. Now, say you have 8 heads of cauliflower because one of your friends grows cauliflower and gave it to you. You could do them all separate. But because we just have a little bit of vegetables of each, which you may only have a few of each vegetable left, you can do them that same way. You could do carrots. If you get those baby carrots from Costco, you get like 8 bazillion of them, and half the time your family can't eat them all at one time. You can cut those up into coins like you would eat in soup, or you can leave them whole and blanch those and do the same thing with them. So these are all going to just sit in there for 3 minutes. And I'm going to move this right here. And Grandma's going to show us how to cut, or I will, the corn off the cob once you have it blanched, because it's been in the ice water. We just removed it. So this is a handy dandy trick for any kind of cob, any kind of corn that you're eating, and even if you're eating it like just regular corn on the cob, but you have fake teeth or you don't like to eat it off the cob, you can just cut it off. So I have a bundt pan here. It's going to collect all my kernels in it, and I'm using this to hold my cob on there. I could turn it this way and make it a little easier, and I'm just going to cut it off. Now, if you want creamed corn, you would cut deeper into the cob, and all that little liquid that squishes out is the cream, and that's how they make creamed corn. So I'm going to turn it here, cut the rest of this off. And then once this is done, you want to make sure it's nice and dry. Now this is perfect for soup, stews, or anything. Save this, compost it, because you may be growing a garden this summer. Or you can gnaw on it, get that little bit of stuff that's left in there. But I'm going to take my little corns, and I'm going to break them up on my cookie sheet that is lined with a paper towel. You can use just a regular dish towel if you're running low on paper towels. But you want to try and dry your vegetable off some, because the worst thing to do is to take this wet vegetable that just came out of that ice water and put it in your freezer, and now it's got a bunch of ice crystals all over it, and it's all one big clump. And those ice crystals will degrade your vegetables as well. You want it as dry as possible. So you see, I just kind of spread them all out and around on this paper towel, and I'm going to let them dry. And then we'll put them in a Ziploc bag and throw them in the freezer. Or you can put them in a little container and put them in the freezer. Also, another tip, say you did make these vegetables for your family for dinner, and you have some of your corn left or your green beans or whatever it may be. Most of us moms don't want to throw it away, so we just finish eating it all out of the pot before we wash the dishes. Dads probably do it too. I can just speak from my personal experience and watching my mom all these years. She doesn't want it to go to waste. But what you can do is get a little Tupperware container and put those vegetables right into it. They've already been cooked. Put them in there and freeze it. And then the next time you have more vegetables, cool your vegetables off, add it on top of there, next layer. So you're going to have layers of all these different vegetables. We like to mix them because then when we make our soups, our vegetable beef soup or whatever, we have some vegetables just to add to it. So we just dump it into our soup. So it's a great use of those leftovers that you don't want to waste.
But it's the beginning of your soup.
Yep. And then, so these vegetables are done. We've had 3 minutes, the broccoli and cauliflower and green beans. So now we're going to scoop those out.
I'm going to use a spider. There's all kinds. This is just a little sieve. You could use that. You could actually dump it in a colander, but I want to save the water if I want to do any other vegetables. And so I'm going to take these. You can see they've remained nice and green.
They've actually gotten brighter.
Kept their integrity. And so we have mixed vegetables here that work great. And they are a beautiful color. I'll bring this ice water over as soon as I get these out. And
Mom, I want the iron in the gloves.
Here you go.
No, I want the iron plate.
I bet you there's a lot of kids that don't even know what an iron is, Ruby. Sorry, we keep stepping out.
Sorry, guys.
Here is our ice water with our vegetables. But can you
Super bright, and they're just so colorful. Look at that broccoli. It even looks better than when it was just on the little cup. And these are still crisp little guys. So we're going to lay these on paper towels on the cookie sheets, and we're going to dry those. We wanted to come to you guys today as well and ask you what you guys have in your pantry. What do you guys want us to show you do next? We're trying to rack our brain and think what kind of video you guys want. And because we're canceling classes and we're both stay-at-home moms and we have this knowledge, we want to pass it on to you.
Yeah, I have to stay with Nicole.
We've quarantined Grandma. She's not allowed to leave because she's so old. But we want you to tell us what you want us to cook.
And so we would like to help out if we can. If there's something you can't figure out and you've got stuff in your pantry, we're up for the challenge. We will try to help you figure out a quick meal that you can make out of what you have in your freezer, your pantry, whatever it is. Real quick, before I do anything else, I want to tell you I'm going to dry these off real well. Then I'm going to put them on another cookie sheet that's just plain, or I can put parchment. I'm sitting it there because that fire still was hot. But I want these dry. And I'm going to put them in a single layer and pop them in the freezer and freeze them for a couple hours till they're nice and frozen. And then I will put them in Ziploc bags. They won't all stick together. And so
it's easier to lay them in your freezer too if you don't just have one big clump of frozen broccoli. If they're a flat layer, you can lay them flat in your freezer and get more into your freezer as well.
Now, you can put these in all together if you want them mixed, or you can separate them. It's entirely up to you. But I'm going to take a towel and blot these dry, put them on another cookie sheet, and then lay them in my freezer till they're froze like this. Then fill my bags and put them in the freezer. And so we can stack them.
So we'd like you guys in the comments below, message us, make a comment on our wall, anything. Some of the things you would like us to show you how to do. If you're embarrassed that you're 60 years old and you don't know how to do I don't know what, do something, you can always send us a private message, and we'll take all considerations, all thoughts into ideas, because we're racking our brain thinking, what do people want to learn to do? I'm hoping to maybe tomorrow or the next day show you guys how to make some baby food. I know people might have babies at home and they don't know what to do with those vegetables or whatever, so I'm going to take some veggies and whirl it up and make some baby food, because guess what? Link turns 6 months and he can start eating, so I'm going to be making some for him anyways. And then we have some chicken and stuff we've bought, so we can show you how to cut up some chicken, how to use some chicken, make some chicken soup. Just any ideas you guys have, please let us know, message us in the bottom. And we hope you have a fabulous day.
And do any of you still buy whole chickens? I can show you how to cut one up. But most of you probably buy pieces. But let us know.
And we want you guys to stay healthy, stay happy, and get outside and take a deep breath. And it's all gonna come together, and we're gonna still be here for you guys. And message us, call us if you have any questions or concerns. Please, we love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.